Excellency, former President Joachim Chissano, former President of Mozambique, my dear colleagues and friends, the EU ambassador, he always fed us very well in Zimbabwe, the Swiss ambassador, of course, the World Bank, and I have Mr. Gatete, the head of the Economic Commission for Africa. We have the Central Bank, the Minister Nkube, Professor Nkube, who is doing a tremendous job that's there. I have so many Central Bank Governor of Zimbabwe. I have Muno Mupotola here, my Vice President, who have been doing all the work, and all of you that have been partners with us. We have so many partners. Let me recognize the Chair of the SADC for being here, and all the others that are here, in particular all the farmers that are here today. Well, I stand here today with a lot of emotion. Emotion because as I listened to the farmers speaking, this was a mission that was considered impossible mission. Impossible mission because for more than 2 decades, there's been no conversation. There's been a lot of animosity, a lot of bitterness, a lot of lack of conversation and engagement. The void was very, very big. The distrust was very massive. Now, remember when His Excellency President Mnangagwa asked me whether I will take on the role of the champion for the arrears process. I said, absolutely, yes, I will, because I lived in Zimbabwe. I worked in Zimbabwe. I know Zimbabwe. And I know exactly what happened in Zimbabwe. You know, sometimes the mouth and the tongue, they bite each other. But it doesn't mean I must get rid of my tongue. It does also mean I should get rid of my teeth. So it's all about how you work together. And so I knew it has to be about dialogue. And of course, very quickly I told him, well, you know, as president of the bank, I can only do with my team economic and financial issues. I can't get into political issues. And so I asked him, give me one of our foremost leaders in Africa that can handle the often very testy, difficult, and complicated political nuances that we will not be able to get around. And that is how he picked his friend, an incredible president, a man of great wisdom and understanding, who understands the entire political framework. Please give it up to His Excellency President Chissano. And together, you know, we started this work together with the government on what we call a central print strategy. Central print strategy was a very simple strategy that at the end of the day, if you're playing bowling in a bowling aisle, you take a look at the pin that is right in the middle. If you are able to hit that pin, you're in business. If you're not able to hit that pin, you can forget. You're just wasting your time in the bowling alley. The reason is because there are a lot of issues with farmer compensations. And I remember when I told President Mnangagwa that I think that we have to actually start by compensating the farmers that have been dispossessed of their lands. It was a very difficult conversation. I was there with President Chissano. And I tried to make it easier for, and Muno was with me there, easier for the president. I say, as a kid, I used to have a lot of malaria. And my mother used to give me Nivaquine. Those of you from Southern Africa, you may not have malaria, but West Africa, if you know camel queen, Nivaquine, it's very bitter stuff. And I said, my mother found a way that if I had to take the bitter pill, she put it inside of sadza, you know, like a bolus, and she put it inside of okra. And I just take it, and the okra goes down, and everything goes well. I said, Mr. President, that's how we have to look at it, straight in the face and deal with it. And I would like you to applaud the president for taking that decision. And we started working with Professor Nkube, who is a fantastic Minister of Finance for his country, to come up with a framework. And that framework is what led to the structured dialogue process. And the first time we were going to have the first dialogue process was right in the house of the ambassador of the European Union. In fact, when I saw him today, I just asked first about his wife, because his wife was so generous in giving us a wonderful dinner at his home. But it was the ambassadors, the bilateral ambassadors, Switzerland and all the others, Germany, and everybody that we had to work with. And so we structured it in such a way that there will have 3 big parts. One is the economic and governance reforms, which we have to do. The minister will explain that a lot. The other one will have to do with the governance reforms you had on that screen in one of the videos. And of course, the land title, the land compensation issue. Those are the three blocks that we had. So I think that standing here today, seeing what has been done, this has been unbelievable and has been an incredible success. The job is not finished, but I think I feel so proud of every single person, from the head of state to the ministers, the council of ministers, everybody that has worked on this issue. Just to tell you what has been achieved. If you want to clap, you can clap. Let me tell you what has been achieved against very difficult challenges. First, the Minister of Finance and the central bank governor took a decision that the quasi-fiscal policies that he used to have, which IMF and World Bank are very much involved in this particular part of it, has to end. In other words, stop printing money. Take the loans that you have in terms of debt that you have and transfer it straight to Treasury. I think today, Minister, you have $3.6 billion that has been transferred, and that has been done. And also, he will explain to you what they've done in terms of liberalizing the exchange rate, market-driven exchange rate. I will not get into it. He's the Minister of Finance, but great, great work. And secondly, is the governance reforms. This is always a difficult one. The ambassador for the EU, I think you chair that, but I can't remember which one you chair. Is that one? Yeah, governance. And it was a very difficult one for all of us because there were 16 indicators that were decided to be done. And we wanted to be transparent. We wanted to make sure we use global standards. And so we agreed that there will be two things, the Mo Ibrahim Index, and then there will also be the World Justice Report Index. And there were 16 indicators that were agreed. Of course, a lot of progress have been made in those areas, and there are areas in which we are now making as well progress. But I can tell you, anti-money laundering, anti-corruption, judicial reforms, electoral reforms, and the anti-death penalty. These are major reforms that have been done, and I think they deserve actually to be congratulated for that. Now, of course, there's the sticky point, which has to do with the private voluntary organization bill, which had been signed by the president. We tried. But look, in life, you can't have it all. And the government person who spoke said it well, which is, we'll continue to move on. I think, for me, the most important thing is the direction. We're moving in the right direction. We'll continue to improve. I know, with the commitment of the president, the commitment of the cabinet, the commitment of everybody else, that any areas that need to be improved on governance will get addressed as we go. There's still a lot of things to be done, and I'm sure that by the time those bills come through Parliament and so on, we will see a lot more progress on the 16 governance indicators. And lastly, I just want to say something about the issue of the land title. I myself am amazed with how the government has actually dealt with it. They've started paying. I won't get into the details. I'll let the minister do all of that. But it is a central pin strategy that worked. Today, we have farmers from Portugal. We have farmers from the old Yugoslavia. We have farmers from Switzerland. We have farmers from everywhere that are being paid by the government. And as you heard, they never thought that was possible because we were thinking of the farmers. We were thinking of the work that if we don't do that, we will not make a progress. And thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Please give it up to him and the entire government, the Ministry of Justice, Parliamentary Affairs. It was a very, very difficult process. I'm also very delighted to say that the titles were actually 99-year leases. And now they've turned it into full title deeds. And just a week ago, I had a visitor from your country. The guy runs a farm called Tonga Farms, I think, one of the large, maybe I'm not pronouncing the right name, but it's one of the largest farms there. And he said to me, President Adesina, you need to understand this. When we got land titles for the BPAS farmers, it means that our title before, on our balance sheet, the value of the land was zero because there was no title. But today, because we have title, it means that the value of the land is so high. And that is why they are going to be able to raise maybe $8, $9 billion as a country. So it's taking a lot of courage, a lot of work. It's my last time as president of the African Development Bank that I'll be speaking on this issue. But I would like to end with three things. First, let us make sure that we appropriately support Zimbabwe to clear the arrears. We've done it for Somalia. We've done it for Sudan. We need $2.6 billion of bridge financing to get that done. Let's get it done. These folks have worked so hard, and we've come this far. You've heard the testimonies. Let's get it done. And we are in the process of the ADF's 17th replenishment. I would like to urge all of our donors for ADF, the ADF Pillar 2, which is what we use for the arrears clearance process, please help us make sure that we have that so we can support these great guys to do the work. And we've already supported them to have a sovereign finance institution advisory to help on the arrears clearance roadmap and also to help them with the legal issues on it. The second thing that I would like to say is that the work should continue going on. And finally, I may be ending my time as president of the African Development Bank, but I will not, and I will never end my support for Zimbabwe. I know that whoever is my successor will take a baton and continue that particular work. And it's been a great pleasure and a great honor to work with such outstanding people here. Starting from the president to the World Bank, to the IMF, to the Minister of Finance, who did an incredible job, and to all of the members of government, and of course to President Mnangagwa himself. So sorry I took a little bit of time, but it's important for me because it's a very emotive issue for me. I know this nation has huge potential. Chairman here from SADC, circle receipts going down. We need rail. We need support, opening up mines and all of those things. Zimbabwe is very critical. So we cannot have regional integration in the SADC area without a very, very strong, economically strong Zimbabwe, revitalized Zimbabwe, and a Zimbabwe that is debt-free, and a Zimbabwe that can access capital markets and also concessional financing to go ahead. So please, just rise for 1 minute. 10 seconds. I'm not praying, don't worry. Maybe I should pray, but I don't know. So put your hands with the person next to you because we are doing something together. Please. And just kindly just repeat out. It's like a baobab thing. It's a big thing, but together we can do it. So please just repeat after me. Zimbabwe's challenges. It's like a baobab tree. Put our hands around it. We can manage it. Zimbabwe's economy. It's like a baobab tree. Put our hands together. We'll help them unlock it. Let's get it done. Thank you very much.